I have started the stream and I'm checking if this is going to come up. Just checking some settings right now. Perfect. This looks to be working fine. We'll start the session in a minute or two. Just checking some settings right now. Can you hear me? Perfect. All right. It is 1:58. We start the session by 2 o'clock. We'll wait for a little time. And 1:59, 1 minute to go. We are today going to build an app. Basically, we're going to build an app that lets you use flashcards for trivia. Yeah, cool. Okay, so this is 2 o'clock now. This is the time, and well, hello and welcome to this stream. This is a stream in which we are going to learn a little bit of Flutter and basically build a mobile app. Okay, uh, I'm going to assume here that there are two kinds of people who are going to come into this session. One of them would be people who know a little bit of Flutter, a little bit of mobile app development, a little bit of programming, maybe, and those who are seeing for the very first time what is happening in this world of mobile app development. I'm going to try and balance this well enough that both type of people get value from this, and I'm going to also interact on chat or respond to chats rather if I start seeing some questions in the live chat. So if you have any questions, you have any comments, or just want to generally say hi, do that in chat. Okay. With that, let's begin. A quick introduction here is that my name is Abhilash, first of all, and from Creative Corner in Unacademy, I am going to teach you how to build mobile apps. And mobile apps are built using various ways. The one way that I'm going to focus on today is called using uh, an SDK or a software development kit called Flutter. Using that, we are going to build what you're seeing here on the screen now, which is a trivia flashcards app. What will happen here is that we are going to have a question, give four options, and if one of the options is selected, if it is right, the streak here at the bottom, as you can see, that goes up by 1. If the answer is wrong, the streak goes to 0. In doing this, we'll be able to understand quite a lot of concepts of mobile app development. The session itself is broken into two parts. Today, we are doing a 60-minute session in which we are going to just build the front end for it. It's not going to be functional. The questions are going to be coded in by us, but we will also have a 90-minute session that comes up in a while, where we want to announce the date. That's most likely going to be this week or in a few days from now. And there you are going to experience essentially how this whole app is completed by getting the questions itself from what is called an API. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's start with how do we actually build this app. Okay, so I am using a MacBook for this. So if you're using a Windows, there's going to be a little bit of difference in how you are going to see some screens, but all that is primarily, how do I say, cosmetic differences. the core of the stuff that we are going to learn today is going to be similar across Windows, Linux, or Mac. Cool. So you're either going to use a terminal or a command prompt. You're going to type CMD if you are in Windows. I'm going to type terminal and bring that up. Okay. Once I get the terminal, here I am going to create a new Flutter project. I store all my projects in a folder called code. So I'm going to CD into it. Once again, you can create this folder on your desktop, on C drive, D drive, wherever you feel most comfortable. Put that. There's a whole set of setup process and installations that need to be done before this. And I'm assuming you are going to check that out and get it. You're going to install Flutter, you're going to install VS Code and Android Studio or Xcode. Once you've got that, some basic setup is done, we are good to go on this one. Again, there's tons of literature available on how to do this. On Unacademy's Plus classes, I've done a full detailed session on special classes, which are free. I have done a full session on how to do that. So I'm going to assume you'll go back and learn that from previous YouTube videos or Unacademy special classes. And the installation done, I'm going to get right into the code now. So I'm going to CD into code, which is where all my folder is. And I type Flutter, create, and the project name that I want. Let's say I want a project name called FlashCards Trivia or Trivia Flashcards. Whichever name we pick, if I hit enter now, whoops, I guess I'll have to use a underscore. So once I hit that, terminal goes ahead, the Flutter program runs, and it does a lot of this stuff. And basically, once you get the message that says all done, and then it says in order to run your application, type this and all of this, you go there and let me open that for you now. Here we go. If I go to this and I go to code and I go to flashcards trivia, the one that we just created, in here, this folder, there's a folder called lib for library. If you open this one, you're going to see a main.dart. Okay. Sometimes it can take a little time to actually build this. So I have done this in the background already. If I open that main.dart, you're going to see something that looks like this. Lots of comments, 114 line app, page. And if I was to, run this, which is most likely what you're going to do, if you're going to go here and put it in this is a main.dart. If I do this and if I go to run and say start debugging or hit F5, basically what will happen is that you're going to see an app that looks like this, and it says if you press the plus button, this number goes plus, this becomes 2, this becomes 3, and so on. If you're able to see this, then your Flutter is working fine, everything is working fine. What we are going to do though is that we are going to get rid of all of this and we're going to start from scratch. I'm going to get rid of this file now, and we are going to try and build something that looks like this. As you can imagine, the top portion remains similar. Everything at the bottom is going to be replaced by something that looks like this. There's a category name, there is a question, there are buttons on which options are there, and if you click on one of them, the streak is going to increase. If you get it right or wrong, depending on that, you're going to see something like this. So this is the screen that we are going to build, and we are going to build in the action. That's what the target for today is. So far, so good? Cool. So let's get to it then. What I'm going to do is that, first of all, I am going to delete this thing that says title Flutter demo homepage. Then I'm going to come here and I'm going to delete all of this code because we are going to start from scratch. This is where we do, where it says theme data and it's got all these comments. I'm going to get rid of this also. And this is where we start. Now, if I try to compile or run this, it's not going to work because there's an error that says my home page isn't defined for this. Let's start from there. I am going to create what is called as a stateful widget. This is a widget in Flutter which allows you to change the content on it. Again, without going to get too far into this, if I do this, it allows me to give it a name. All I'm going to do is that I am going to say my home page. The same name that is put here in home, I'm going to put that. And I'm going to replace this container. I'm going to replace this with something called a scaffold. That's all I'm going to do. With this change, what is going to happen if I save this now, right? And the refresh happens, the whole things become white. So now we're going to start from here and build this portion of the screen which says trivia flashcards, and go ahead and build all of this. Everything in Flutter is a widget. Think of a widget as a box, and you can put more boxes into it, and in that box you can put more content. So if you think like that, the top portion of this here, trivia flashcards, that is a widget inside which some text called trivia flashcards is put. Then this portion where it says general knowledge, that's a widget also. Which Italian automobile manufacturer question, this whole thing, that's a widget. Each of these buttons is a widget. These buttons can be put inside another widget. This streak, best streak, all of these are widgets. Think of them as boxes or rectangles for now, on top of which you're piling on more content. And that's really it. And what we are going to do today is we are going to build this much, and on click of this, we are going to build a system which changes this color, allows you to show a button called next, whether it's right or wrong, and increase the streak. This is going to be a non-functional, visually ready application only. Once that part is clear, let's get to the actual functioning of this. Okay. The scaffold is basically the first widget on top of which everything is kept. So in here, there is going to be something called an app bar. Okay. An app bar is this part here where it says trivia flashcards. That blue colored portion that's seeping into this, that is app bar. And I can say app bar widget I want. And in here, I have quite a lot of options. Okay. I am going to say title of this app bar is a text widget. What do I mean by that? This is a widget or a rectangle or a box, as you might imagine, inside which I'm going to put some text. Let me put the text, trivia flash cards. And if I do this and save this, immediately, if you see towards your left, I am making progress. Whatever was shown here, that is showing here as well. Okay. With that in mind, let us start going further. The white portion that you're seeing here, this white portion is called the body of the scaffold widget. And I am going to say body. And if I say that, in here, I can start putting a few widgets, right? And what I am going to do is that in that, I am going to put a widget which is called a container widget. All right. So container, as the name suggests, is a widget that holds other widgets, right? And the container has a child, and that child can once again be a text widget. The same text widget that I put here in the app bar, I can put here also, give it a name, and let us say category name. If I say this and save this, you will see the category name appears on the left. Now it's just a matter of ensuring that I get it right, I get all the spacing correct, I get the font size and all of that. And there are many what are called as helper widgets and properties and settings to make that happen. So first of all, I don't like the fact that it is sitting, touching the left side of the corner of this body in the container. So I'm going to say, first of all, give me a full width. It's doing that because it's not taking the full width. And what I'm going to say is double dot infinity. That is my way of saying whatever amount of space has been given to you, occupy all of that. Take the entire thing. And then I'm going to say, give me some margin. Again, at this point, if it is not entirely clear to you what is happening, don't worry too much because we'll catch up with that soon. And how I'm going to set margin is by saying edge insets dot all 20. Okay, what is this edge insets? This is the edge to which this thing is touching, and I'm saying all around, which is top, right, left, sorry, bottom and left, top, right, bottom, left, everywhere, all around, give me a margin of 20. Okay, and if I save that, you will see instantly it is no longer touching it. Instead, it is 20 pixels. It's not really pixels on the mobile. It's just consider this as a 20 units. It's 20 units away from the corner. The edge insets, wherever the edge was, from there we have moved this a little. If this much is clear, let us go to the next step. Or let's just revise quickly if you want. App bar, the app bar that we have here is just that. Have a title, put some text widget in it, and put some text, and we are good to go. In the body, because we have more than just a title, we know we have got all of this that we need to build. We are going to use some more helper widgets really to make that happen. Okay. One of the first things is, as you can see, I have category under which, let us say, I want to put this question: which Italian automobile manufacturer gained majority control of US automobile industry or whatever. I want to put this under the category. Now that is not possible because a container allows only one child. Okay, these are terms that you will begin to understand. Think of the container as one box, and in it, it allows only one other box to be put. What we really want is a kind of a box that allows multiple boxes to be put one under the other. And one of the boxes that does it is called a column widget. A column is one where you can put one widget below the other or one box below the other and stack them up. So if I get rid of this, where it says text category name, instead I put a column widget, what you will see is that the column widget supports something called children, which is plural, right? Which means it allows me to add multiple ones. And I can just put back the text that I had taken away and say category name. What I can also do though is that I can add another text widget here, right? And I can say question text to be displayed or whatever, right? And if I save this, now you're going to see that they come one below the other, and they are also center aligned because column is taking care of that, right? The axis of this column, as it is called, it is aligned centrally. So they are one below the other. So far with me? I then want a bunch of questions to come. And what I really like is that I want to clearly allocate spaces for all of this. I want to allocate, let us say, about if this whole thing is 100, or I would allocate about 15% space to the top one, 15% more space, or 10%, or whatever I want to do. If I say 20, 10, 20, then maybe 60, and then 20 more, I want to assign percentages to this space so that they stay in one place. They don't depend on how much they are going to move. So the next stuff really is something called an expanded widget. Okay. And again, this might seem like all too sudden, too many concepts being introduced. Hang on. All of this will make sense as soon as you start understanding what is happening. So as you can imagine, there's a container widget, the child of which is a column, the child of which is a text. Now, the good thing about Flutter is that you can start putting a lot of widget inside each other. So this one, so where it says text, if I click on this bulb that you're seeing here, the yellow colored bulb, if I click on this, it says wrap with a container. So if I do that, it allows me to put a container inside this. Why do we want it? Because we want a little more control. We want how much width is there, what color we want, all of that we want. So we put everything inside containers. So if I save this, nothing really would have changed in here because this is just the text widget put inside the container widget. Once again, first time people into web development or mobile development, you will find what is going on. Don't worry at all. This will make sense. Okay. And now what I really want to do is that this container, I want to put into something called an expanded widget. Once again, same thing, what I just did, I took the text, I put it into container. The container, I put it into column. The column, I put it into container once more, which is put into scaffold. So this is, again, boxes, 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 boxes. This, however, I want to put into something called expanded widget, and expanded is where all the magic is, because expanded allows you to set exact heights as percentages. Okay. So I go here and I say wrap with widget, and the widget's name is expanded. Once again, I come here, I take this wrap with widget and expanded. If I save this, you will see that category name and question text to be displayed have taken half and half available space. Why has that happened? Because expanded takes as much space available to it divided by the number of expanded widgets. Because we have two widgets, they have taken both 50-50. We can control this a little more, and I'll come to that in a bit. But I hope this concept is clear. Scaffold, the child of which is a container, the child of which is a column. The reason we needed a column was that we wanted to put one below the other. And inside the column, we put a, expanded widgets, two of them, and they have now taken two spaces. All I'm now going to do is that I am going to add a few more expanded widgets to finish off my blocking of the things. Okay. So this is my questions. This is my streak. Okay, let's add a couple more expanded widgets here. Expanded. And in this child, once again, I am going to put a container. Should I put, or you know what? I'll just put a column. And hopefully, if you've been paying attention, you will understand why I have put a column. The reason I've put a column is that there are 4 buttons one below the other, and that stacking is created using the column widget. We are going to put them one below the other, and in here I can put my button. And for now, I'm just going to put 4 text widgets and call them option 1, option 2, option 3, and option 4. If I save this, you will see now 1/3 of the space has been taken because there are 3 expanded widgets. I'm going to go ahead and add yet another expanded one here. So they will be taking 25% each. And what is that called? That is called the streak. So I'm going to say text, and I'm going to say this streak is 5 and best streak is 15, let us say. Now, if we observe this, we've got them one below the other. And what I can do there is that if I put a /n, /n is for new line. And if I save this now, you will see 25% space has been taken by each of them, and I've got it blocked the way I wanted. It's not looking as pretty as this one is, but we'll get to that in a bit. Hopefully, the widget selections make sense now, because first of all, we put a column widget and we put 4 expanded widgets under each of them. This third one, we turned it into yet another column widget because we have put the options there. If this much is clear, let's move on to the next step. And in the next step, we are going to, you know, uh, start making them look good as well. Yeah. And if you can see here, I've got some sizes. The general knowledge one looks bigger font than what I've got here. And it has also got boldness to it, or what is called the font weight, which is bold. So let's start from there. Okay. One trick with Flutter is that if you add commas in the right places, it will auto adjust and make it look much clearer. Yeah. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to add something called a style to this. To here, where it says text, I'm going to add a style, and style itself is yet another widget. I'm guessing you're now able to, start following what everything is a widget in Flutter. And text style, I can set font size, and I can set a font size. If I do this and save it, you will see that the font size has become bigger here. It's the same in the bottom, but only category name has been given a bigger font size. Another thing I can do is I can give it a font weight, and that font weight is bold, font weight dot bold. Now we are getting into the cosmetics of this. If I save this now, you will see that this is starting to make sense a little about what we wanted it to look. What I still don't like is the fact that they have taken 25% space, and that's not how the intended screen is. The intended screen is this should take much lesser size. So what I'm going to introduce you to is a concept called flex. Flex is for flexibility, right? And expanded comes with a property called flex. Okay, and it is an integer, it is a number. If I assign a flex of 2, let us say, and save this, it will not make sense right now, but as soon as we finish this, you will start feeling that, okay, the category has been given more space now. So what has happened is that by default, the value of flex is 1. So everything is flex 1. The 4 expanded widgets that we have, they all have, let's put it back. Let's put it to what is the standard size. Flex 1. I'll explain this in one moment as soon as I put it everywhere. Flex 1 and flex 1. If I save this, now you will see nothing would have changed from the previous one because it has now taken 25% each. Now let us say I increase the flex of one of these. Let's say the question mark, where we have all the column and it has the questions and everything. Let us say instead of 1, I turned that into 10. Suddenly you will see that the spacing has all moved around. What really happened here is that the total sum of the flexes, what is it now? It used to be 4, 1, 1, 1, 1. It has now become 1 plus 10, 11 plus 1, 12 plus 1, 13. Total available space is 13, of which this top one has taken 1, this bottom one has taken 1, and this one seems to have taken 10. This bottom one has taken 1 once again. So that's the percentage ratio that has been taken. Now, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be like this. I want the category name to take 2 spaces, this one to take 4 spaces, and I want to give my streak 2 spaces. Okay, and if I save this now, you will see that things have reorganized themselves a little more. And once again, if you add it up, this is 2 plus 10, 12, plus 4, 16, plus 2, 18. I've got overall 18 available spaces. And if I just make it 4 for simpler calculation, make it 20, you will see that of 20, this one takes 2, which is 10%. This one takes 4, which is 20%. This one takes 10, which is 50% of 20. And this one takes 4 once again, which is 20%. That has now become the ratio. I'm going to break this up further later, but for now, this is the size that we are going for. And let's clean this up a little. Let us add a few commas everywhere, and let's get them to a place where I can add some style to this also. The question also in my design looks bigger, and it's not bold. So all I'm going to do is what I just did, which is style, and add the text style widget inside there, put a font size of 20. If I do this and save, and I'll see that the question has come up nicely, and I am beginning to see that the spacing and all is looking all right, and I'm happy. The uh, thing that I need to really test is what happens if the question goes to the second line. And as a mobile app designer, a visual designer, a big part of your job has to be what happens when 2 lines are there, what happens when 3 lines are there. You have to verify all of this. This is looking good when there is only 1 line. Let's add 2 lines. Let's just increase this text a little. Question text to be displayed in 2 lines. Now if I do this and save, the length of the string has become long enough that has come to 2 lines. Again, nothing is getting disturbed, so we are good. But what if it was 3 lines? If I do this, it comes to the third line. I am happy with 3 lines. This is a decent size for a question, and I'm just going to leave it at this. Now we are going to look into these options. Okay, these options we are going to clean up. We are not going to call it text because they have to be clicked. Each of these options is going to be clicked. If you look here, this is blue inside which there is white text, and they look like buttons which are clickable. So we are going to make them into clickable buttons. And I'm going to get rid of 3 options here, keep only 1. And once I'm happy with the one that I have, I'm going to make it look good. Okay. Like everything, we start with a container. Container, because it allows you to do a lot of styling options and everything. And I don't really need alignment, Flutter. What I need is that what we just did above, I want a width of double dot infinity, which means take the whole width. I'm going to save that. And what I also want is that I want a margin. I want some space to be taken by that. And again, stuff that we have already discussed, edge insets dot all. And I'm saying move them away a little. And this time, let's say 10. Okay, we'll come back and clean this up. There's nothing here, so it's not visible. Now I want to add a button. A button is basically something which Aditya Kumar, you say, I am new. Aditya, you will have to watch some of the previous videos better. You will understand quite a lot from this visual design. But if you want to start building this stuff yourself, you'll have to learn a little more about basic coding. I assume you have the app, the Unacademy app, and in that you are going to have to log in, and you can see the special classes. I've started that series just 2 days back, and you'll be able to get access to lots of stuff in which we're taking one step at a time, all installations, everything. You'll get access to that. You just need to install and do it right. Yeah, cool. So with that, let's just get back to where we were, which is in this container, I want to add a child, but this time the child is not going to be a text. It is going to be what is called as a button. Okay. And there is something called a material button. In the material button, this is where the text comes, and I'm going to just leave a blank value on this one where it says on pressed, and I'm going to add another child to it, which is a text. Okay, and I'll just write something in here for now, and I'll say option text 1. And if I do this, and if I save this, you will see nothing much has changed. It looks as if it is just a standard button only. But material button supports quite a lot of cool properties like color, for example. So if I say color is colors dot blue, if I say this, suddenly you will start saying, all right, so this is starting to look good now. This is a button, and I need to change the color of the text. And if I say style, text style, and in there I say colors dot white. If I do this, what you will see is that the text is starting to look like we wanted it to. The font size is not correct. I'm going to fix that, but it is starting to look good. The height is not right, and there are a few other things. Yeah. So what we will do is that we are going to fix much of this. We're going to say this the container inside which I have put the material button. I want that to have a certain height also, not just width. I want a height of, let us say, 60. If I do that, this button expands, fills it up, right? And this text style, I want the font size to be slightly bigger, not too big, not like 20 like the question, but I want the font size of the question to be 18, let us say. And if I save this, the font size is beginning to look big now, and we are making very fast progress. The spacing looks all right. This has come well, and yeah. I think I don't really need this margin anymore because the margin has been set and it's got even further inside after that. So if I get rid of the margin and save it, I think this takes up a much more expanded proper space, and I think I'm better off with this. Now let us say I wanted 4 buttons. Yeah, one below the other. I wanted 4 buttons, and I just have to copy this whole thing, for example, and if I do this and paste it 1, 2, 3 times and save it, I'll get these 4 buttons. But you see, there's a spacing problem and everything is just repeated. So tomorrow, if I decide I don't want the color blue, I want it green or purple or something, then I'll have to change it in all places. So any programming that you do, you follow a concept called DRY, which is don't repeat yourself. Everything that you're going to learn, once you create a certain style the way you wanted, you should not repeat yourself. And one of the ways to keep the code common and do this 4 times is what is called as the for loop. The people who understand a little bit of programming, they kind of already know what is happening here. We're just going to run this thing 4 times. But if you don't understand what loops are, this is what they are. So I say, give me an integer with I equal to 0 and say, if I less than 4 I plus plus. What am I doing here? I'm saying start with I is equal to 0. Okay. I'm taking a value, think of it like I'm counting. I'm starting the count from 0. And I'm saying until my count, my number is less than 4, keep increasing the number. So I take 1 and I say add 1 to it. I plus plus means add 1 to it. 0 becomes 1. Is 1 less than 4? Yes, it is. So I repeat that. I add 1 more. Then it becomes 2. Is 2 less than 4? Yes, it is. Increase. 3 less than 4? Yes. 4 less than 4? No. 4 is not less than 4. 4 is equal to 4. So I stop doing it. Stop doing what? Putting this container box inside the loop. Okay. So if I save this now, you will see that the repetition happens here. The thing comes 4 times, and because it's touching each other and I don't like it, I might want to add a margin, but I don't want to add a margin to the whole thing. Instead, I want to add edge insets to only top and say, give me a 10. Okay. If I save this, you see the thing gets pushed only from the top and the space starts looking right. And all I want to do here is I want to increase the font size just a little bit, and our original design that we intended with this streak and everything, that should be done. And let me just finish it quickly. Again, we have done this enough times now that you should understand what is happening. I have the text style widget that I'm adding, and I'm saying FS font size of 18, let us say. And if I add this, there's an extra comma, I get rid of that. This streak is looking all right. I think I am happy with it. Maybe change it to 20, make it look as much as the question. There is the streak coming here. I want to add a space that I had missed so that these numbers, this text all aligns. And at this point, before we know it, we have got something that is starting to look like our intended design. You see this? There's a category name, there's a question, there's options, streak, all of that has come in. At this point, what I really want to do is that I want to now make it look like this one on clicks and all of it to happen. Just before that, I have a quick announcement. If you got it this far, congratulations, you have designed a better looking mobile app than most people are capable of. We're going to make it even better. We're going to make it functional. But just before we do that, I want to share a little bit of details about Creative Corner run by Unacademy. What we do at Creative Corner is that we have a lot of categories like Artists Corner or Entertainers Corner, Auditors Corner, Beyond School Syllabus, Book Lovers Corner. All of these are things that Unacademy is bringing in one big umbrella category called Creative Corner. And what you can do if you do not have access to Unacademy's login is that you can sign up. In here, as you're seeing, we are doing something that's moving a little faster. In that, I've got about an hour to finish off this whole thing. But what I also do in Creative Corner is I take almost 36 classes spread over 3 months, in which we go into in-depth details of what is what I'm going to share, how programming works. And what you can do is you can sign up for the subscription here. A month subscription costs 3,000 rupees, but if you go for a 6-month subscription, you get a massive discount, get it for 10,000. And as you increase the term of your subscription, you will get more and more discount. A 3-year subscription costs 3,200, which is less than 900 rupees a month. On top of that, if you use my code, which is Abhilash_YT, that's YT for YouTube _10. If you use this, you get a further 10% discount on top of that also. So I would definitely ask you to consider joining Creative Corner. We talk about doodling, we have music, magic tricks, storytelling, Vedic maths, robotics, coding, something that I am doing, and we have another educator who does coding sessions as well. There's negotiation, financial literacy, chess is being taught now, effective communication, debating, public speaking. You get access to all of these. You get access to all of these skills, and you can attend as many classes as you want. If you are already a member of Creative Corner, refer your friends to it. Use my code once again. On top of a already discounted price, you get even more discounts. So you should definitely consider joining in. Okay. Now, what we also do is this YouTube channel on which you're seeing this, we have something called a feature star creator, right? And if you, after having seen this class, do the same thing, whatever I've just taught you, if you were to build this thing yourself and give us, submit your video of you doing it. Maybe have somebody record as you're coding, maybe talk about it, show some screenshots of the app that you have built and share that. You will get featured on our YouTube channel of Creative Corner. And yeah, we have got this January carnival going on, in which once you sign up to Unacademy's Creative Corner using the code that I just gave you, you can just get access every day, entire month of January, 2 sessions for free. There you're going to learn doodling, magic tricks, robotics, web and app development. I am doing a full course on app development myself, where we go from start, know nothing, till create an app, make it work, and upload it to App Store. So you'll get access to all of that. So join in, get further discounts if you want. Use my code, and you will get a lot of access. Another amazing thing that happens every month in Unacademy is something called Unacademy Ascend, which is an all India championship for classes 6 to 12. And this month it's happening on January 10th, right? 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. You have an option to win scholarships worth up to 5 lakh rupees. So check this out, what Unacademy Ascend is. And you should have once again, Unacademy is bringing in all of this for you. So do give it a shot, sign in, download that app, and get access to a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I think that's the message for you. Let's get back to the class itself and see that we have got all of this looking nice. I've got the app looking the way I wanted. And if I click on this, I can make this start working now. And all of this is good, except everything says option text one, option text one, option text one, option text one. That's not what I want. I want questions to actually come in and show the options, right? And while I'm running a for loop, there is another kind of for loop where you can get the actual values. Okay. So what we are going to do is that we are right now doing what is called as hard coding. We're just coding the and typing the text itself. I don't want category name. I want it to say something like general knowledge. I don't want question text to be displayed in 2 lines now, but what if it was 3 lines? I want an actual question that looks like which Italian mobile manufacturer, stuff like that. I want real options. I want a real streak. So what I would want to do is that I would want to build something called a trivia class. Yeah. And in the trivia class, what is going to happen is that I am going to define what all is going to be on the screen. I have a category name. I have a question. I've got all option answers, but some of them are correct. Some of them are incorrect, right? So let's do this like we do. Let's define a class called trivia. How do I do that? I use a keyword called class and type trivia in there, open and close braces, and in here I can type some names. This is all going to be what is called as a string. A string is text, so I can say string category. Okay, what is a string category? Whatever is to be put inside this, I call that as string category. Then I have another string called as a question, right? Whatever comes here. The next thing I have is a string of correct answer. So this is the correct answer. Every trivia question is going to have a correct answer and multiple incorrect answers. And because there are going to be multiple incorrect answers, I create a list of strings. Okay. And that one is going to be called incorrect answers. Does this make sense now? Each screen that you're seeing, right? In each of these screens, I have correct and incorrect answers. This can be any number of incorrect answers, but there's only going to be one correct answer in this. And we will create what is called as a constructor. If I want to create a new trivia question, because I don't want to create only one question, right? I want to be able to have multiple trivia questions. I answer something, I go to the next one, I get one more question from a new category, and so on. So I want to define a constructor. At this point, again, if it does not make sense, don't bother too much. I'm going to explain this in another 90-minute class with a lot more detail. Right now, all I'm doing is that I am defining this, and I'm saying whatever has been put on top there, I just want to call it here and we are good to go. This is a class that we have defined, and we can now start creating basically a new trivia questions, right? Instead of having this category name kind of boilerplate text as it is called, or a placeholder text, I want to have real things, and I'm going to say where new trivia. I have a new variable that I'm creating, which is of type trivia. And this takes a few variables. Once again, at this point, if this is not making full sense, don't worry. I'm going to explain all of this in the second class that we do, in which I'm going to spend about 90 minutes explaining this in full detail. Yeah, let us just create a question now. And I want to say the category for this is known as general knowledge. Okay, and I want the question, and the question I have here is that which Italian automobile manufacturer gained majority control of US automobile manufacturer Chrysler in 2011? So that's the question, and I need to give it a correct answer. Correct answer is Fiat, if you know this. And incorrect answers are basically three incorrect answers are there, and we can just code in whatever we want. I have got some text typed in here already. So I'm going to type Maserati, Alfa Romeo, and Ferrari as the three options. They are incorrect though, right? And if I save this now, at this point, nothing is going to happen, but we are now in a position to actually start making sense here, to get rid of this category name, okay, instead, and say new trivia dot category. If I say this, right, whatever I had coded here, right, in this new trivia, the category property had set to general knowledge. If you see on the left, that has come there already, right? I don't want to type these questions like this. I want these questions to come from somewhere. It just happens to be coming from this now. So if I say new trivia dot question, if I do this and save this, the actual question has come here, and you're beginning to see how the app is taking shape in front of you. All we did was we created a class called trivia, inside which we put four things. Correct answer and incorrect answers we are going to put here now. The thing is, I want to merge them into one. I don't want to put the correct answer on top and then incorrect answer at the bottom. The way I am going to do that is that I want to add to the collection of incorrect answers. I want to add one of the correct answers also, mix it up, reorder it, and then present it to people, right? So let's try this, where I have this for loop. Instead of saying int and repeat this four times, what if I say int string, which is the text, and I say answer in. In means go there, go to the list which contains the incorrect answers, and get them for each one of them. So if I do this and I come down here, rather than saying option text 1, if I say answer, which is this variable here. So what it is going to do now, it is going to go into new trivia dot incorrect options. Okay, there are three of these. It goes one after the other into them, and it puts the answer right here. This answer that was taken, it's put inside the text box where I had said option text 1 before. So if I save this, what you will see is Maserati, Alfa Romeo, and Ferrari have come, which are all the incorrect options. Now, obviously, I can't have a quiz which only has incorrect options, right? So I'm going to have to add the correct answer to it also. I'm going to have to mix my correct answer into the incorrect answers, shuffle them up a bit, sort them alphabetically, and then present them here. Okay, so let's do that now. We already have this, right? We already have incorrect answers and correct answers available here. All I have to do now is that I have to say, you know, string correct answer is equal to new trivia dot correct answer. Now I've taken a variable inside which I have put the correct answer variable. Inside this variable now is the value called fiat. Okay. And what I want to do is that I want to check if, okay, new trivia dot incorrect answers contains correct answer. What I'm doing here is I'm asking a question. Does the incorrect answer list already contain the correct answer? If it is not doing that, okay, if this is equal to false, what I'm going to say is that to new trivia dot incorrect answers, add, what do I add? I add the correct answer. Does that make sense? I check first within this list. What if the list that had come to me contained this already? Then I don't have to do it. Therefore, I'm checking, does it contain the correct answer in it? If not, if it does not contain, then add the correct answer. And if I save this, what you will see is that fiat has appeared at the bottom, which is the correct answer. Now, the problem with this approach is that the correct answer will always appear at the bottom, and your participants are going to figure out, and they're just going to keep answering the last one. What we are going to do that is that we are going to act a little smarter than them and say new, whoops, in here, if I say new trivia dot incorrect answers, and if I say sort, right, what it will do is that this sort is going to alphabetically sort this list. Okay. And if I save this now, AFFM. So it's come in the alphabetical order, and we have mixed it up. Now, unless somebody actually gets access to see this text that we have stored here, it is not possible to guess from this where this is. And since every question is going to have its own, different order alphabetically, so it will start looking like the correct answer is mixed in somewhere. Okay. And that's it. What we were able to do is that we were able to clean this look up and basically build it the way we wanted it. We started from nothing, a blank white screen, and we have now come to a point where it looks indistinguishable from the image that I had taken of me previously attempting to build it. And let's just say this number 3 and 15 is here. This says 5 and 15. And once again, like I said, no hard coding. We don't want to use values like this. We want calculated values. Okay. So let's add a few more variables here. Okay, as they're called. I'm going to say int this streak is equal to 3, let us say, and say int best streak. Int is integer, which is a number. Let's say just make it 12 for now. Okay. All I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, and if I say dollar this streak, and instead of 15, if I say dollar best streak and save it, you will see the number 3 and 12 have come, and there are no hard-coded values. As and when things change, they are going to update here. Okay, let me show you quickly one small way in which you can change it, and that will make sense. We are not going to, just for your information how this works, we're going to come back and then we are going to do this in the next session. This is a quick way for you to understand how this will become functional. At this point, it's not functional. So what I'm doing is I'm calling something called set state. Set state, in the simplest possible way I can explain, is you want to refresh this. This screen that you have, you want to refresh it. And after refreshing, what if I say, okay, when on pressed, it says, what is on pressed? The button that has the answer in it. When it is pressed, let us say I want to increase the streak from 3 to 4. What I can do is I can say this streak plus plus. Plus plus means increase it by 1. If I save this, yeah, and for good measure, if I reload this whole thing, what you will see is that if I press this, observe this streak number, it increases 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, obviously, I wouldn't want to increase the streak on pressing anything, right? I want to increase this only if somebody got the correct answer. How do we know that the answer is correct? We already have the value answer in here. We are already running a for loop, and each time I know what is the answer. So I can do a quick check and I say if answer equals, I put two equals for comparison and say something like new trivia dot correct answer. That's all. If I do this, save this, and reload this page, this should go back to 3. But if I touch Maserati, which is the wrong answer, nothing will happen. If I touch Ferrari, nothing will happen. Alfa Romeo, nothing will happen. If I touch Fiat, the streak increases because Fiat is the right answer. The way things work, we are already seeing a functional app, and I'll do certain things later, which is if I press this, I want this to become green. If I press this, I want this to become red. I want to make it look as close as possible to this now, because on selecting of Fiat, I want this. Plus, I want indications like a thumbs up that says that's right or that's wrong, an option to go to the next question, streak increases, and all that sort of stuff. So if this is your first session ever, if this was a little overwhelming, I understand. But once you get past this initial learning curve, right, what's going to happen is something magical, and you're going to understand everything that is happening in the next session, and we are going to pull in information from the internet database. Here it is. There is something called an open trivia database. If I go here and I ask it for questions, it shows me that there are thousands and thousands of questions in there with options. They're all verified question. They're going to come back in a certain format. We will read those questions. We'll show them on the screen. And every time somebody hits next, we are going to get a new question, and we'll keep managing the streak. So similarly, if we can do this also, we can say if this answer is not equal to this, we can do something like this is equal to 0, because the way streaks work is that as soon as you get one wrong, it goes back to 0. So if I save this and if I get this wrong, observe how the streak goes to 0. But if I get this right, the streak should increase to 1. So we're going to write all of that code, and we're going to just make this app fully functional, an app that you can take, practice yourself, distribute to your friends, and basically have a lot of fun with it. So please wait for announcement of the part 2 of this session. That's going to be 90 minutes, 90, 1.5 hours, in which we are going to spend quite a lot of time and understand, or rather re-understand everything that we did. If especially this part, this whole class trivia and then setting up of this where new trivia, if this sounded a little too much initially, don't worry. We'll come back and explain all of this from the beginning once again. Okay, I hope that makes sense, and I hope to see you practice this. I hope to see you the next time when the session starts. Until then, I want to say goodbye and